What is good, guys? I am back in Japan. I literally landed last night, drove all the way from the airport here in the trusty steed, the R33.4. I'm feeling pretty kind of like sluggish and just blur. I think it's just how you normally feel when you spend like an entire day on a plane, not being able to like get around and move and whatnot. But what I wanted to do today was actually go over the entire like engine bay of my car, work out everything that I'm going to be doing, because there's going to be some massive upgrades happening soon. And I need to make a list and like a plan of action of how I'm going to tackle everything that I want to do on the car, because we're making some big changes. So the first thing I'm going to do is obviously pop the hood so we can have a look under there. But what I want to do is just go through everything that I'm doing and talk to you guys about what all of you dudes need to do as well whenever you're planning to do upgrades and things like that. Yes, I have the hood on my head for that. One-handed vlog life. So if you guys remember where we last left off on the 33.4 was I temporarily mounted my oil cooler thermostat here with zip ties, so that's a bit loose there, lovely, as a means of just putting it all together, because things were just not as simple as I thought they were going to be to mount that in, and everything has to change for that to work. And then at the same time, where my current oil cooler is going to interfere with where the intercooler piping needs to be for a forward-facing plenum, and so then that whole thing needs to be redone and moved anyways. Plus, I mean, there's a whole bunch of other things that need to be done. Moving to a top mount turbo setup means I've got to relocate my power steering reservoir. I got to relocate pretty much everything on this side. I need to delete my ABS unit because that's just junk and we don't want that there, so that needs to be done. I need to relocate where my catch can's going to go. We may even need to get an entirely new catch can. There's so many things that I need to do to get this like the way that I want it to be kind of like, you know, neat, tidy, really reliable and effective. And just so you guys know, what we're aiming for this is going to be a reliable 500 horsepower setup, which I know is pushing a Series 1 stock internals, but we're going to probably dial it down to like 480-ish. And that's going to be 480 horsepower at the wheels. So first of all, let's show you the goods. So this is the first box of many parts. This is one of our intake manifolds, Taku Garage intake plenum. This one's been sitting at like the workshop for ages, waiting for me to like pick it up. And initially this was for my 34 and going to go on my 34, but you know, obviously I drive this more than my 34 and I'd like this to be more responsive, so that's why we're going for this. So if you guys don't know, generally you can drop anywhere from 300 to 500 RPM off your turbo like lag or spool time by switching to one of these bad boys, and that's just because the way it's designed and how it's nice and big here and everything with your runners and everything, it just means your air's going to get into your combustion chamber a lot quicker. So that whole kit with an 80mm throttle body is going on here, just like what you would have seen in Wayne's R33 engine bay. The throttle body comes to about here, and while it's here, that then means that my intercooler piping needs to come out from here. So this all has to change, and then what's directly under that currently is my oil cooler, so that all needs to change and move, and we got to play around with that. Also need to put a new alloy radiator in here, and to clear up space we're probably going to switch to electric thermos with a trigger switch set up on the link, just like we did with my 34 while I was in Australia. So there's a bunch of stuff that needs to happen, but I'm not doing it all in one hit. I can't do that. I can't afford to do that. I'm not Mr. Money Man Adam LZ with a whole bunch of money. So I have to essentially, I'm going to do it all in one hit, but I can't purchase everything in one hit. So I'm going to start, you know, buying parts and storing them on the side and getting everything ready up until the point when we're ready to just do it all, then get it picked up on a tow truck, downpipe made, custom intercooler pipe made, re-dyno tune the car, good to go. At the same time, we are changing the rear housing that's on the turbo and going to an external gate. So we're going to get a really nice CRG top mount manifold. I'm going to stick to a T3 flange. I was thinking of going V-band for the simplicity of everything, but the V-band flanges that Mumba uses are not the standard like Garrett ones. So for me to get a manifold made with that correct V-band, I'd have to get the V-bands first from Mumba, then send them to CRG, get them to then make it, and then send it back to me. And I'm just like, it's a pain in the ass. I'll just stick to T3 flange, whatever. So the turbo is going to be pretty much here in this area here. So this needs to move. This is probably going to be fine in that location because I want that nice and close to the wastegate, which the wastegate's going to be like down in here. We're gonna have a nice 3-inch dump going down there, and we should be all good. I'm just trying to think right now if there's anything else. Like, we're going to tidy up everything. A whole bunch of wiring is going to get tidied up once we get that ABS unit out of there. All these metal lines won't be here. They'll just be really nice GK Tech braided lines and stuff that'll just come along there and get zip tied up nice and neat. And just getting rid of that whole ABS unit, it gives you so much more room. I'm hoping that the heat management will be okay enough for me to move the oil catch can into that corner, so then my nice braided lines will come off the top of the cam covers here, back and around there, because we're losing all of this like top mount pipe and everything, right? All of that's going. The other thing that kind of sucks is my 725, what are they? 725s or 750cc injectors. I can't use them with the new intake manifold. That's because they're side feed, and side feed doesn't work with anything new technology wise anymore, just because, you know, who wants a side feed fuel rail? They're kind of big and gross. So those injectors won't be able to be used, and when we do the upgrade, we'll be using 1000cc Bosch injectors, top feed 14 mil injectors, so that'll be cool. So those will go up for sale if any of you guys are interested in them when the time comes. They're the genuine Tomei Nismo ones, so I'll probably just pop those up on like a sale page on Facebook and ship them worldwide. But yeah, for now, everything is kind of that's pretty much everything that I guess is going to be happening. There's a lot more involved, like when it comes to changing to a forward-facing intake manifold. There is a lot involved that people don't really understand and take for granted. So things like your fuel lines have to completely change. The way that the fuel rail works on this, let's pull it out. Oh, here's another example. Your water lines coming off the radiator change. You get 4 individual lines that then go to a special distributor block. So the fuel rail, here's the fuel rail. So the way this works is you've got your 6 injectors there, you've got your return port in the middle here, and your 2 entries either side. So I need to run fuel into the front of the rail, into the rear of the rail, and then out the middle of the rail. You can just block off the center here and run fuel in and fuel out. But it's not recommended because you get a better fuel pressure per injector by just separating everything by 3 and having your outlet in the middle. It's just a more preferred way of doing things and keeping things safe with making sure your injectors all have the same pressure. Throttle body's going to be sick. I might change this to a silver one later on. This was the only one we had in stock that I could throw on with this, because I gave my silver one to another customer who desperately wanted a silver one, so let him have mine. But yeah, so this is a nice 80 mil one, so it's like 6 mil. How big's the factory one? 76 mil or something? Or is it 68? I can't remember. But anyways, it's 80 mil is what everyone changes to when you're going for a bit bigger power. 80 mil is like the standard one that was on the the Z32. So you know your Z32 airflow meters, the throttle body from that, I think too, a lot of people use on a whole bunch of aftermarket cars. Even Nobuken on his 2JZ swapped R34, he uses the Nissan 80 millimeter throttle body on his Toyota 2JZ. So very common thing to do. So there's that, and I think that kind of sums up everything. So exhaust wise, we're probably going to end up doing something custom and having the gate venting to atmosphere, because I just experienced way too much gate in Australia where I can't say that I don't want it to be a screamer. So I definitely want a screamer on this. Anyways, I've kind of been rambling on for ages explaining everything that's happening, and kind of just talking with you guys has helped me work out a list of everything I need to do. So I'm going to go sit down, write down everything in my iPhone. But yeah, so things are going to be changing a lot. We're going to make this thing super responsive. The rear housing that we're changing to is going to be a 61mm AR, so 0.61, sorry, AR. And that means that our spool times will be down, and then having the forward-facing intake manifold means our RPM to full boost will be lower again by at least 300 RPMs. Then having the top mount manifold that flows really well, generally you can see your boost times dropping by 500 RPM. So look, with the intake manifold, exhaust manifold, right now full boost hits in at about 4,500 RPM, 4,000 RPM. So I'm hoping to see full boost by at least 3,000 RPM if we're lucky, like 3,200, 3,300. If we can get it to that, it's going to be awesome. So yeah, enough talking. I think that kind of wraps everything up. That's where we're at with the 33.4 and what's planning to happen. Once we get all the engine work done, the body, I'll start saving for the body work. We're going to be doing a full BR kit on this, so the B racing kit for the 33.4. So I'm going to be getting rid of these custom made metal panels, the hood, everything, because I'm just going to save up 10 grand and just get the full B racing kit. And then at the same time, we're going to get all the body work done and the paint work done. So like for me to do body kit, fix everything on the chassis, like any rust spots and stuff like that, I'm probably going to end up spending 15 grand on this thing, but I think it's worth it because it's just going to be such a fun little car. And I mean, you know what it's like owning cars. You don't really care about how much it costs you in the long run, I guess. It's just more about having cool cars and just enjoying them and making them look as cool as you can, I guess. Anyways, I'm rambling on, losing track of everything. But yeah, so we're going to be getting the whole wide fender kit in the rear here that brings us out to like here. The front's going to be widened out as well. Obviously for the angle kit we're going to be getting as well, it's going to come out by like another 50 mil. The thing's going to look sick, full fiberglass hood with vents and everything. If you don't know what the BR Racing R33.4 kit looks like, I'll put a picture up, but that's what we're going to do. Okay, so enough rambling on. That's my plan with the 33.4. It's going to pretty much become this super badass practice drift car for me, and eventually it may end up living at Ebisu as my practice car there, depending how things go with me wanting to get an S15 and stuff like that, because I think probably having the S15 as the daily / drifter here later on in the future when I'm more like better off financially and stuff, will make a little bit more sense. And then having this just stored at Ebisu, thanks to like, you know, some of the guys there, we can have this there, and all I can then do is have like a K car where I drive up to Ebisu for like a full day of practice driving and then drive all the way back in the K car. That just makes way more sense to, you know, not have to spend all this money on gas, and as well as tolls and things like that are much cheaper for the K car. So if we get like a little Suzuki Every van that we can throw tools in and a whole bunch of stuff in, then drive to Ebisu, drift this all day there on like one of 6 of all the circuits there, whatever you want to do, makes way more sense to do that. So, you know, my goal is probably just to keep this as a really nice hot boy kind of practice car. I've always loved the R chassis, but I am coming to realize that even though I love the R chassis, it's not the best chassis of choice for getting into competitive drifting. So I am obviously kind of torn there with the S15 now and this. But anyways, I'm rambling on again. I need to stop doing that. Thanks heaps for watching, guys. I know this video is just me talking and showing you and telling you what I'm planning to do, but I really think it's important to share my vision with you with this car, because ultimately it's you guys that are helping me get the car to that state. You know, more subscribers, more views and things like that means more income for me so that I can do more things like this. And I think it's important because you guys are investing your time in me by watching all my videos. So I feel like you guys are all investors for, like, I guess my lifestyle and what I want to do here. So once again, I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys. Don't forget that I will never forget that you guys are the reason for all of this happening. So I don't want this to turn into like an emotional, sappy thing. So I'm just going to say thanks heaps for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next video, guys. Ja mata ne.